We'll do roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Lasky is absent. Vice Chair Stafford,
Here?
Commissioner Grabowski,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Shimke,
Here.
Commissioner Lysina is absent, and Willem is absent, and Chair Harless.
Here.
Thank you.
And yes, welcome, Andrew, to your new
I
role.
know, that's what happens when you miss a
I
meeting.
said and you get voted in.
Yeah, here I am.
Here you are.
But it was unanimous.
Yeah, it was unanimous. Yes.
Well, thank you.
All respect.
Any public comment on agenda-related items? Gerba? Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Okay. Oh, Chief Glass is heading up right now.
Okay.
So we need a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passed.
And approval of the meeting minutes of the June 5th, 2025 meeting. Those should have been emailed to you. Does anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I am going to wait for Chief Glass before I roll on the banner update. So we're going to do unfinished business out of order a little bit. Obviously, with the US 31 corridor beautification, there's no news. It's just we're keeping it there so that when we start to progress on that, we will talk about that. We put under unfinished business the hackberry trees that you had brought up at the last meeting.
I was hoping Nick would be here, being that he's also on the tree commission. He
Okay.
wasn't here last time, so maybe that,
Well,
unless anybody else has the information at this point, I don't.
no. We'll put it on next month's agenda and hopefully, we can talk about it when Nick is here.
Okay.
All right, banner update. Chief Glass, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh.
So at our last couple of meetings, we had talked about spending the remaining funds that we had in the NRBC budget to purchase additional banners. We made the executive decision not to move forward with purchasing additional banners at this time because we are still working through the process of getting the banners we currently have hung and figuring out exactly which poles they can be hung on, who owns the poles, the city or consumers, and the process for that. Consumers has greatly changed their process for using their poles within the last year, at least, maybe 6 months. So we're kind of been going back and forth with them. Chief Glass has done a lot of the legwork just within the last few weeks, and also working with the city. We did get a commitment from Jeff McCullough that DPW would put up some banners for us. So it may look like DPW is going to put up all the banners that we have right now. We're not 100% sure. But within the last hour, because I drove by earlier and there was not one up.
You did say at the about 1 o'clock.
There is one of the police department banners up in the back by their parking lot.
I saw that. I took note of that walking.
Yes.
The two.
Yes.
I like it.
Take a look at it, give us feedback, and if we like
That's
it or not.
what it's supposed to do, just like that.
Here. I walked past it.
Over here? Okay.
Not on Maple,
Okay.
Water.
on Water Street.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So one of the police department banners is up, and like I said, we're currently looking for solutions for the additional banners.
Yeah, I think the operations plan was take a look at if we like the 5-foot banners on those black poles. If the answer is yes, I can get with Brandon Prince and do the remainder for 4 lights, and we can have that as a starting point as we figure out the rest, the strategy for other locations.
Is there any other additional work that needs to be done that the rest of the board can help with? I know Lucas and Sarah yourself were kind of, a big driver in the banner program, and now with Lucas stepping away, I don't want all that to fall on you, Chief Glass. So if there's anything that can be kind of offloaded, let me know and I can.
Well, I appreciate it. I think right now the sequence of events is let's get the rest of the banners. Well, first of all, give me feedback of the banners, and then we need to decide if we think that they need 2 banners per pole. But let's get these banners hung as we work out different locations, if there are any that exist, for the remaining banners. And that'll drive our decision if there's future purchases this
Okay.
budget season. The budget started July 1st. So in my mind, that's kind of the sequence of events.
Okay.
And so Commissioner Harless has been searching, navigating, and looking for potential opportunities out there, so.
In my opinion, with the size that the banners are, because they were originally made to go on a telephone pole, I don't think we'd want 2 banners on one of the smaller poles, probably 1 banner per pole on the smaller poles, just from what I can see.
This was very visible walking.
Yes.
And not only is it informative, you know, the police department's here, it's friendly like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, big shout out to the DPW. They're willing to put those up. It doesn't take a lot of labor, but you can't rush the process. So it is a little bit time consuming, but they were very receptive, and Jeff McCula in putting the banners up once we identify locations. So kudos to them.
Yep. So that's kind of our update. It just feels good to have something up to see in a year's time where we're at. And then, like I said, how we're going to move forward with the other banners that were designated for the US 31 corridor as entrance banners. But again, we're trying to work through that with consumers, and it's not been the easiest of goes. So we're looking at other solutions that we can make happen because they're already purchased. So, and they've been sitting. So we'd like to get using them.
What are some of the restrictions as far as consumers is concerned?
Go ahead.
So there is just a requirements, there's a permit process per pole, which requires multiple fees, and then there's a longevity cost, an annual cost for each pole. So, you know, there is a financial sustainability strategy that would have to be implemented in order to do that. So, yeah. So there's some challenges, not insurmountable, but again, when you know, you know. So now we're kind of we still aren't 100% which poles the city owns and which ones MDOT owns or consumers.
Right.
So we think we know, but again, just there's just some challenges. But like everything else, there's always solutions to problems.
All right. On to new business. We have kind of been tasked with helping the city work through the mural policy. As you all know, were some murals down First Street toward the beach on that wall, and some issues arose. So we are at the point now where the city manager, Bill Gamble, has worked with our city attorneys, and they have come up with an easement for murals and a public art policy for murals. And they want us to be involved somewhat in that process, and they would like us to recommend the authorization of the easement and the public art policy. And was that emailed to you from Heather? That should have been emailed to you from Heather as well. But I'll look back here. What our involvement would be in the public art policy is basically, it says the selection, acceptance, ownership, and long-term placement for more than 1 month would be a long-term placement of gifts of work of public art and memorials shall be coordinated by the NRBC and decided by the city council subject to the following criteria. And then they have a list of criteria that, you know, would have to follow with whatever was submitted. Does anyone have any conversation or questions about that?
I'd just like to say that I think it's a good idea for us to kind of partake in public art. I think it's a good niche for this group to kind of support. There's not a whole lot of public art in the city, so I think if that's one of the ways we can support beautification efforts across the city, again, not just in downtown, but, you know, within the neighborhoods themselves, I think that's a kind of a good good way for us to play our part, and I think it's an appropriate setting for us to be making those recommendations to city council with the help of city staff and, you know, outside support.
And I did speak to Liz Lasky on the phone yesterday. She has been talking, I think it's Rapid City, but it could be a whole nother city, I'm not sure. They actually have like a mural festival.
Roger City.
Roger City.
Roger City, yeah. Yeah.
And she has been talking with the development people there about that and is actually going to, at some point in time, go and meet with them, because it's like a big thing for their city. It's like what they have people from other countries come to do these murals. It's juried, so they submit things. It's, you know, obviously kind of following our policy. But she wanted to look at that as a potential event for the city as well. So what that will look like or how far it gets or what our involvement is, I don't know. I just wanted to mention that she did say that she is talking with people there.
Mural or anything else, any other artwork, maybe that should be expanded upon too, not just talking about murals, but, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? Come back to me.
Okay,
I had another point.
okay.
Yeah, and I think Liz has explained the same event to me, and I think this public art policy is the first step, and then kind of figuring out what our role is in, you know, either, you know, supporting an event like that, helping facilitate an event like that. But I think maybe a more logical next step would also be, you know, maybe one of the tasks that we can do is identify certain spots in the city of Manistee that public art's appropriate, not just for, you know, murals, but also, you know, sculptures and things like that. So we can maybe be tasked with creating, you know, somewhat of an inventory of, hey, I think, you know, here in Duffy Park or in this neighborhood and vacant lot that the city owns, maybe this would be a good spot. And just kind of keeping a running list of potential spots for public art would be a good next step too, before getting in over our skis. But I was going to say, it definitely could snowball, and I would love the idea of having like a mural competition in this community. But I think also just starting with you know, maybe just let's start an inventory of where public art could even go, because I don't think anybody's keeping track of that, and especially outside the downtown. You know, there's a lot of blank concrete walls in the downtown, but then where are spots in our neighborhoods that can have sculptures, and, you know, what parks have space to integrate sculptures like that would benefit the community.
Go downtown and you're by Division Street and that first building, every time I go by there, I think, whoa, artists could have a blast there. I don't know who owns it, but, and it's such a great, there's a parking lot there. It's just such blank, nice blank slate for someone to really, you know, have that painted.
Well, public spaces, but private spaces too, as far as the building itself, that kind of thing. And then what I was gonna say was there needs to be a jury of some sort, something set up.
Well, that's what part of this, the public art policy is that it, you know, it meets certain criteria. It would be brought to us and then also taken to city council. So there's definitely, you know, steps in place. Talks about, you know, being original artwork, and, you know, all those different types of things. So again, I think this derived from the murals on the wall on First Street. The person who owns that wall has looked over the easement as well and would sign that as long as, you know, that's something that city council wants to move forward with. So if anyone is interested at this moment in doing art over there or murals over there, I have no idea. But I think it's just, they want to get a jump on it in case that comes up again.
So if that's privately owned,
Yeah.
the wall itself,
Sure.
then it also has to be privately maintained, is that correct? Like any repair work before anything else is done?
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't either.
I know within the easement agreement, the city am pretty certain that it stated that once the mural's on there, it's the city's responsibility to maintain that. I don't know, that's for the wall itself prior to the installation of the artwork, though. That's a good question.
Prior to the previous mural, I know the NRBC went out there and cleaned up that area and power washed the wall. It hadn't been power washed in X amount of years. And so that was kind of created the canvas that subsequent painting went on. So I guess my question is, what would this group like me to do as far as next steps? Would you like me to coordinate with the city manager to see if it would be appropriate to get this policy? Is the next step get this policy in front of council for approval? Is that, I guess,
I think-
well, I don't want to get the cart before the horse. First of all, I guess it would be, a question is there consensus with this commission to make an official recommendation to city council about this policy? That's the first
And that's what
step.
he's looking for from us right
Yeah,
now.
and so, I don't know, Chair, if you think it's just a verbal, consensus, or if you want to do a formal vote, but I think that figuring out if NRBC is comfortable with this policy as is, to make a recommendation to city council for adoption. I think that's where we're at. That's what I'm hearing.
I would make
Yeah.
a motion, I would make a motion to make a recommendation to city council to approve this public art policy
I support
And the easement agreement,
and the easement agreement.
and the easement
Yeah,
agreement.
I'd make a
yes.
recommendation.
And whatever he said, support.
Lord, does that need to be clear?
No, I got it.
Okay, clear as mud.
Yeah. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye,
Opposed? Motion passed.
great.
I'll coordinate that with Mr. Gamble to see when it's appropriate for the next city council. We can't get in the next council meeting because that's next week, but figuring out ways to plug it in. Someone from the NRBC will be invited to that council meeting in case there are questions specific to this that Bill or myself can add answer. Fair enough?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, any public comment? Nothing? Okay. Anything for the good of the order, Jane?
Nothing at this time.
Okay. Kathy?
Nothing, thank you.
Andrew?
Yeah, so I was approached by a local artist regarding a sculpture project that he's looking to undertake. And he's looking for community support. The idea of the project is to support Meals on Wheels and create almost this beacon of Meals on Wheels where people can kind of gather for it. There's a lot of elements to it, so I won't get into it right now, but I think it's just timely that we have a public art policy, and I think it's something that, this group obviously can't necessarily financially support, but just help be advocates for public art, within the community and, supporting projects like the one he has kind of explained to me, and I would love to get him in front of this group and get further explanation as to his project and see how we can, support him in his effort to get community buy-in and find the right funders and organizations to partner with to actually materialize his vision for his community sculpture.
Where does he want to put it?
So that's undecided, and that's part of having that location of, where's public art available, where do people want to see it? I think that's kind of a baseline inventory that we could help get, because that's one of his questions is, where can I even put this thing? What's the zoning? Where do people want it? Could it be in the community fountain area? Is it city parks? What does that process look like? But having that inventory of,
And he-
10 spots.
And what is he honoring?
So it's kind of multi-dimensional. It would be a steel structure, but he has this idea of, on that structure, there will be an area to hang a flag every year. School children would actually make the flag, but then there's an element of Meals on Wheels as well. He would have to come in and fully explain that because it's pretty nitty gritty. I don't want to botch it. So I'll let him do that explanation at the next meeting. I will invite him out.
Okay.
I just was thinking, I know it's not my turn, but, I think, there's a lot of property at the senior center.
Mm-hmm.
And, my sister-in-law works there, and, they get involved with everything. They're the most upbeat, go senior center I've ever seen in my life. You could be doing Zumba one day and yoga the next. but I'm too tired. But anyway, if he might wanna check with that, or I can check with that for you.
I know he has a meeting set up with the senior center.
Oh,
so he'll be,
okay, then
yeah,
he'll
he,
let
he,
you know.
yeah, he's gonna connect with them, and I know he's
Okay.
connecting with the Community Foundation and a couple other,
So he needs donations too.
not necessarily donations, I think he's looking for general support at this time, and he's not asking for donations from this group.
Right.
So it's more so just having,
Just-
having community advocates
Yeah.
and say, you know, this is gonna be a good project, but obviously we need to know more about the project before we can make any type of
Well,
commitment.
that's
like that.
cool.
And the idea too, that I'm thinking, rather than having maybe just an art district, it might be kind of nice to have it around the city, different things, as we progress.
Yes, I like that. Okay, I'm sorry, you're doing.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah, that's all I have.
No, this
I
is
have
your
one
time.
question about that. You said a flag.
Mhm.
A flag, what do you mean?
So he's done projects in the past in Saginaw where they've been able to partner with local school districts in which school children have just a blank canvas. It looks like almost one of the banners that have gone up where it's probably 2x5 or 2x6, and a class will actually create the flag and the design. And so the one in Saginaw that he's created had, I think it was like handprints and these tiny little, 5-inch by 5-inch squares. And so there was 40 different squares on this flag that was hung, and it's something that gets local children involved. And I think it's supposed to encourage the arts at a young age. So just an interesting dynamic and kind of a living element of the project. So it's not just a steel sculpture that sits, it's more interactive
And
than that.
bringing more people. in.
Exactly.
Okay. The only thing that I have, and again, it was my phone call with Liz that she wanted me to bring this up. She's also on city council, so I think that's part of it, but she has been getting a lot of calls about blight. And so she's just wondering how our group can focus more on blight. So I just want to, I was at the last city council meeting, blight was brought up, there's citizens that are upset about it as well. But I just want to reiterate, when Toby, and I know Toby's gone now, but when Toby was here in March, he had 23 blighted structures on the list. 5 were cited and they were in court with those properties. I have all the addresses of those. And, he gave us a really good presentation on,
Yeah, he did.
he did, on,
Yep.
if a building is secure and empty, it's okay. While it may not look visually okay, it's not blight. So I just want to reiterate that, I guess, to us, so that if someone does approach you or says something, if it's got structural deficiencies, imminent collapse, fire danger, or sanitation, well then obviously, that's an issue. And I do believe one of the places he was talking about that was in court was brought up at the city council meeting as well. The one thing, Toby at the time was part-time, and I'm assuming the new person hired is part-time chief. And that's, one thing Liz and I talked about is, maybe it's, and again, that can't come from us, but maybe it's bigger than a part-time position. I'm not sure. That's something for city council to have to look at. But he brought up the fact, again, I have my notes here, that there was somewhere between $6,000 to $8,000 in court fees for the city alone at that point for these 5 blighted properties. And I guess, a question that I have is, and we don't have this answer, but I asked Liz this, that these are maybe answers that we have to look at, is when people are cited for blight, where is the money that they're paying for these tickets that they're cited for blight? Where is that going? How is the court collecting that? Does it come back to the city of Manistee? Are these people, I guess that was my question, is are these people truly being held accountable for this?
Right.
So Liz and I had a conversation, and again, she just wanted me to bring up to this group that she is getting phone calls about it, but we also are not an enforcement group. That is not, and I mean, that is one reason why the city went out and hired a blight person, is because the police officers, that's not their job either. It's not something they can do. But I think it's just important that we remember that the city is working through it. I mean, I think Toby came and he gave us that presentation and it was very eye-opening to me.
It was good.
Yeah, and so just something for us to keep in mind if we are approached about it. And I don't know what we can do moving forward on some of these bigger blight issues that are going on. So that's all I have. Chief.
A couple things. Tim Ball, our new code enforcement officer, thank you for the segue.
You're welcome.
It is, I think, his 2.5 week, so we're getting him up and running. The News Advocate will be in to speak with him next week, and then we can push all his information out publicly, but he's not waiting. He was pretty encouraged today because he cited 6 residences, went out there today and found they were in compliance. They cleaned up they cut the grass, cleaned up some, so he was encouraged. We keep moving forward with them. And as far as his experience and training, that continues to grow. Once we push his information out, that'll make it more public and more accessible. I would remind people if they have issues with any kind of blight issue or any kind of issue to utilize See-Click Fix. So he was very encouraged today. He went out and talked to people last week and wrote some letters, and he saw some compliance. We meet monthly as a city staff, meeting the city attorney, city manager, police chief, building official, and code enforcement officer monthly to update on cases. And really, I think to update on processes and making sure that we have the most efficient process we can from the municipality's side. And so that's a constant process. I know some folks like to see things happen faster, but we still have to make sure that we're constitutional in everything we do. So it was encouraging seeing him out there. In fact, I think it was Wednesday, he and I both went out there at a couple and addressed some issues, and we're working for to get compliance there. So that's the update to him. Advocate does usually a pretty good job with new employees, so I wouldn't expect anything different for the coverage of him. Just real quick, when I hear you talk about the potential of art and sculptures, I think what it is, with the fear of getting the cart before the horse, just, again, this group talks about collaboration with the parks, and maybe down the road that could be a great opportunity to collaborate with the parks, identifying locations of potential art and sculptures and whatnot. But that's what I hear it's real early on in these conversations, but the parks have the largest area as far as putting stuff. So I think it's a great potential for collaboration. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Then I'll second it.
Thank you. All right,